Space Commander has a co-pilot. His name is unknown for now. He is a cat, and right now I do not know what he looks like. I have four ideas, and by the end of this session, I will have one that I will pick. Let me show you how I get there. Every character starts with a problem that needs to be solved. Before I can think about personality, expressions, or funny moments, I had to ask a much simpler question. What should this character actually look like? For this story, I knew I wanted a cat. I did not know the color yet, but I knew the role. This isn't just a pet that is in the background of a few illustrations. This cat is a constant companion. He's been with the main character ever since he was a kid. And because of that, he ends up going everywhere. Every mission, every adventure, every quiet moment. If the main character is there, the cat is probably asleep, somewhere nearby. So before drawing a final design, I started by sketching four possibilities. These aren't finished drawings, they're just simple silhouettes to help me think. Sometimes I like to keep things loose at the beginning because it let me focus on the bigger decisions instead of getting distracted by details. Once I had the four ideas, I removed the page, cut each sketch apart, and treated them almost like little postcards. Then I painted each one individually with watercolor. Added details with colored pencils and carefully cut around the outline so I could hold each cat by itself. That let me test something that's really important for this book. Most of this story takes place in space. Space is beautiful, but it's also dark. Deep blues, blacks, purples, bright stars, colorful planets, glowing control panels, emergency lights, windows looking out into the galaxy. Every page will have a lot happening visually. If my character blends into those backgrounds, readers have to work harder to find him. And in a picture book, especially for young readers, I don't want that. I want them to notice him immediately, even if he's only sitting quietly in the corner of a page. So I help each design against dark fabric to simulate those space scenes, and then again gray fabric to see how they will separate from lighter environment too. The first option was a dark brown tabby. Honestly, this might be one of my favorite looking cats in real life. He's familiar, comfortable. It's probably one of the most common cats people growing up seeing. There is something very homey about those warm brown cats with dark stripes. It immediately feels like a family cat. But once I held it against the dark background, it almost disappeared. The markings were still there, but the overall shape started blending into the darkness. Instead of reading as a one clear character, it became part of the background. And there was another problem. This particular cat felt serious. He looked intelligent, responsible, like he actually had a plan. That is not the personality I'm looking for. This character brings comedy simply by existing. He's completely relaxed while everyone else is dealing with chaos. He's not worried about the mission, he's worried about finding the warmest place to take a nap. The second design was a gray cat. This one was inspired by space itself. I imagine soft fur with little streaks of white, almost like little tiny stars scattered across the night sky. On paper, it sounded like a perfect idea. A cat that almost looked like a piece of the galaxy. But once I tested against the dark background, it had a similar problem. It separated a little better than the brown cat, but not enough. Instead of standing out, it competed with the environment. The background and the character were trying to occupy the same visual space. I still love the idea, and honestly, I may save the design for another story someday, but it wasn't right for this one. Then came the orange cat. Immediately solved the visibility problem. Orange jumps off a dark background. Against blues and blacks, it almost glows. From a design standpoint, it worked really well, but personality matters just as much as color. When I look at the orange version, I kept imagining a cat that was curious, energetic, adventurous. The kind of a cat that always climbs onto things and sticks his nose into everyone's business. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It just wasn't this character. The more I look at it, the more I realize the color was telling me a different story than the one I wanted to write. This cat isn't supposed to steal every scene. He is supposed to quietly make every scene better. Sometimes he will be asleep in the background while everything else is happening. Sometimes he will accidentally create the funniest moment on the page simply because he is completely unaware of the chaos around him. He's comic relief, but not because he's trying to be funny. He's funny because he's unbelievably calm while everyone else is stressed. That left one final option, the white cat. The moment I placed the white cat against the dark background, everything clicked. The silhouette became instantly readable. It almost looked like the light was coming from the cat instead of the environment. That's one of the wonderful things about white. It reflects whatever color is around it. Blue cockpit lights, green control panels, red warning lights, the soft glow of distant planets, warm light inside a bedroom, gold sunsets. Instead of fighting the environment, the character borrows colors from it while it still remains unmistakably white. That means he always feels like he belongs in every scene while still standing out. I also love the emotional feeling the white coat gave him. He started reminding me of a little white cloud, or the Milky Way stretching across the night sky. Soft, peaceful, comforting. That's exactly what I wanted. This character isn't just comic relief, he's also emotional support. The kind of companion who's always there. He doesn't need a dialogue, he doesn't need dramatic moments. Sometimes the most comforting thing in the room is simply another living creature choosing to stay close. I want children to look at him and immediately want to hug him. Not in a normal ball of fluff where you lose the shape. Just soft enough to feel warm. Round enough for them to feel comfort. Simple enough that even at the small size of a picture book illustration, his silhouette reads instantly. After making the decision, I started exploring the sleeping poses. Eyes gently closed, relaxed ears, a round little body. The small paws tucked underneath, almost like a loaf of bread resting on a cushion. Then I added some small touches of watercolor, a little pink inside his ears, a little warmth around the nose and cheeks, some pink on the paws to keep him from feeling too flat. I may still experiment with the markings of his face. That's one of those decisions I don't want to rush into. Sometimes a tiny pattern can completely change how expressive a character feels, so I'm taking my time until it feels right. Character design is rarely about finding the most beautiful drawing. It's about finding the drawing that tells the right story before a single word is read. I think this one is finally starting to do that. This is the Space Commander co-pilot. He didn't ask for this job. He has very little interest in the mission. But at one point in this story, he does the most important thing anyone does. Next Thursday, we will work on one of the spreads of Space Commander. So make sure you subscribe so you can follow along. See you next Thursday. Bye.